Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of the CloudieVape. In this video we're going to be talking about the Steamboat RDA by Lawless. So this is the media blasted finish. It also comes in polished stainless steel and brushed stainless steel and also in black. Ooh, shots fired, shots fired! I can't help but laugh about this RDA. This is called the Steamboat RDA by Lawless. It is a complete, absolute rip-off, completely a rip-off of the Tugboat by Flawless. It's a complete clone of the Tugboat version 2 by Flawless, and that is kind of shady. Honestly, I'm only laughing about it because I just can't believe somebody would take something, you know, and then completely rebrand it and release it. It's just like, come on, have some common sense. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and review this device. Just think of this device as the Tugboat version 2 clone, because there is no such thing as the Steamboat RDA. It is really just the Tugboat version 2 clone. So let's dive down and check out this RDA. Alrighty, so here is the box that this device comes in. This is the logo for Lawless. Let's go ahead and open it up. It has a little magnet clip on the edge. Once you pop it open, you have your little logo right here. This differs a little bit from the authentic Tugboat version 2. So let's look at what comes extra. You got some wick, some wire, you have your screwdriver, you have a couple O-rings and 3 extra screws for the deck. Alright, let's look at the device. Here is the Steamboat. So let's go ahead and look at this a little bit more up close. Alright, so here is the Steamboat RDA. You have your big wide bore drip tip just like the authentic. Very nice. It has a serialized drip tip that matches with the bottom of the RDA. Alrighty, so you have your hashtag Lawless just like hashtag Flawless on the authentic. You have your Steamboat, not your Tugboat. This is your Steamboat, guys. You have USA, and then you also have your matching serialized number that goes with the drip tip. This is a silver plated contact pin, and the device is made out of 504 stainless steel. This is a decent size 510 connection. It'll fit on the majority of mods. There were a few mods that it did not fit flush, but I would say 8 out of 10 of my mods actually fit flush, so that is one thing to note. Here is the deck. You have a 3-post design, 1 positive, 2 negative. The only con on this is that the post holes are kind of small compared to the other clones of the Tugboat. So I would say you could probably fit 2 22 gauge wires in this, but it would still be kind of snug. So that's just one thing to mention. The actual holes in the post are kind of small compared to the other ones. You have a really wide juice well, which is really nice. It's comparable to the other clones of the Tugboat, comparable to the authentic. You have 1 O-ring on the edge, makes the top cap sit down nice and snug. No problems on the leaking on this top cap. I have had no issues, so really impressed with that. Really good quality, smooth on all the edges, no sharp edges to mention. The post I've built a few times on this so far. I've had no problems with the screws stripping out or anything like that. Very tight connections on the screws, very good connection. Okay, let's look closer at this drip tip. Very simple design. It's kind of a shorter drip tip, but it compares to the Tugboat version 2 and also the Tugboat version 1.1. So let's talk about the top cap and the airflow. So this being a clone of the Tugboat version 2, it has all the same features. You have a dual coil airflow setup, and you also have a single coil airflow setup, which is a very nice addition to the design on the Tugboat. Also, you have 2 airflow holes for each side compared to the single airflow hole that you had on the older versions of the Tugboat. So the overall machining and quality on this part of the device, very smooth, very well made, very sturdy. Alright, so let's look at how the airflow works. So if you see this, you have your option for dual coil or single coil. This airflow right here and this one back here are going to be your dual coil setup. So this side is going to be your single coil setup. If you see right behind it, where my thumb is right here, it is blocked off, set up for a single coil mode. So that is how you adjust. So let's set this up for single coil mode. All you have to do is line up the airflow for single coil mode. Make sure you line it up with the side that has the blocked off holes on the back. There's no holes back here. So just pop it in on any of the 2 holes on the bottom part and you should be good to go. Just like that. And then if you turn it around, you see this is blocked off. Again, you can adjust the airflow by just simply turning it, and that'll tighten up the 2 holes. You can even go with one hole if you want, 1.5, half of one. It just depends on what you want. So very good design on this. You have multiple options for airflow, so that is really good on this device. So let's talk about the quality of this top cap. This is very well made. You have 2 rubber O-rings that seal the airflow control down here. Very, very smooth on the top, smooth all the way around. Where your drip tip goes in is very smooth, fits nice and snug. All my drip tips fit on this, so you don't have to use the stock one if you don't want to. Now if you look inside of the top cap, this is a new design. It's more of a conical type shape, a dome type shape inside of here. That really increases the flavor when you're vaping on this. The flavor on this is absolutely killer. I would mention, if you want to compare this to the authentic version 2 of the Tugboat, go ahead and look in the description. I'll put a link to a few different reviews for the authentic version 2 Tugboat. So let's just look at the airflow real quick. I'll show you how it tightens up. Just by turning that, if you see, you just adjust the airflow however you want. So this device really accommodates for airflow, also accommodates for single coil and dual coil mode. So overall, very good device. I'm highly impressed with the quality of this device. It compares to the authentic that I have of the Tugboat. So I do have to mention, this is probably the highest quality clone I have ever used, even though it's being branded as an authentic. Don't get me wrong, it is a clone, it's a complete ripoff. But again, as far as quality goes, this is a primo device, absolutely solid device, and for $16.99 retail, you just can't beat the price. So that was a quick rundown of this device. If you want to compare it with the authentic Tugboat version 2, again, I'll put a link in the description box below. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch the camera angle, vape on this in single coil mode using 22 gauge Canthal. So let's see how she vapes. Alright, so I have this set up in single coil mode using 22 gauge Canthal. It is wide open, ready to go. I'm using a FBT clone by Joy King. It's the Uptown clone. And also I'm using a VTC5. So a few things to note on this. The flavor is absolutely killer in single coil mode. The vapor production is very, very good on this. I'm using a Max VG juice by Vegan Vape. It's called Blue Gorilla. It is a very, very tasty vape. The main thing that's giving you that flavor is going to be that cone type shape on the top cap. That just increases the flavor, just makes it so good. So I'm very impressed with this. Highly impressed with this. Again, this is retailed at $16.99, and even though it is being branded as an authentic, it is actually just a clone of the Tugboat version 2, so don't get it twisted. Before we wrap up this review, let's look at the dual coil mode real quick. Look at the vapor production on the dual coil mode, also talk a little bit about the flavor. So let's go ahead and vape on it in dual coil mode using 24 gauge Canthal. I'll have the airflow set wide open on this, so let's see how she vapes. So the vapor production on this device in dual coil mode, wide open, is absolutely killer. Absolutely love it. Very good flavor still. It's all accredited to the top of the cap again. That dome shape, that conical type shape, really just increases the flavor, and it's just an awesome vape. The overall quality of this RDA out of 1 through 10, I would give it a 9.5. It is comparable with the majority of authentics that I own. But again, I have to just keep going back to, this is a complete ripoff. This is a clone device. This is not an actual authentic. So you make the choice. If you want to get the device, you go for it. But again, just remember, this is a clone, and this is an absolute brand ripoff. So you just make the choice. It's your life. You live your life. Do what you want to do. So that wraps up this review. If you have any more questions about this device, go ahead and leave a comment, ask the question, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you want to know where I got this device, look in the description box below. I'll put a link to it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.